So we're now at the point where we want to begin to manipulate our Toposolid to suit what our site plan will look like. I want to focus our attention just on the building and the immediate site. So when we have a Toposolid like this, we can manipulate the elevations. Remember, we have our contours identified here, and if I recall, let me just take this and stretch it out to, say, here. This main higher contour surface is 49,000 millimeters. So I'm going to use that as a beginning point, we'll say. Before I do that, it's easy enough to click and drag to bring my property or my building up into the property, but we really need to be more careful or more precise with where we want to have the building vertically located. Now, again, this will be your choice as to what the elevations will be as far as your building is concerned, but what I will typically do is I will do a section. So I'm going to go to the section command. I'm going to start over here and be very careful because it's easy to accidentally not have a perfectly horizontal section line. And I think I want to look at the other way, like so. And now I'm going to go to that section. All right, so we're running into a similar situation as we had with the elevation, like the north elevation in our case. So I'm going to not have it crop, and I am going to set the clipping plane to, or clipping, far clipping to none, just to make sure I am actually seeing everything. I can also turn off the clipping plane with this button right here if I wish. I'm just going to leave it on for now. These are our three original level lines. I'm going to select one and a VH for view hide, and they'll all sort of hide. I'm also going to take change the visual style to, say, shaded to see if it looks any better or any different, and it does. I see that the CAD file is visible, it's not hidden in this section view, which is to be expected. Whenever you hide something in a view, it's only hidden in that view, and I hid it in the site plan view. So I'm going to select the site and EH to hide it in view. So now we can get a sense of what our building looks like at this location, as far as vertically speaking, how much is below grade, how much is above grade. So you have to make the decision. Are you going to just pick a position for the building vertically and then manipulate the grade around it to make it suit appropriately? For example, I may want this grade to come down to, say, here. But do I want to actually bring the grade all the way down, or do I just want to raise the building up? So why don't I do that? Just nudging with the arrow, and that, of course, takes forever. So I'm just going to drag it up. So, and I'm going to just sort of drag it up to, let's say, right about there. Okay. And if I go look at the other side of things, you can see that the grade as it is now actually comes up. Well, I'm going to leave the building where it is, and I'm going to adjust the Toposolid so that the elevation of the grade is down to here. And then I can just create points of specific elevations around the building to suit what I want to accomplish. So go back to the site plan view. You might also want to create a section this way so you can get a better sense of things. But when I looked at that section and I was looking at this particular location, and I must have not brought it down enough there. I have to look at, I believe this is roughly 49,000 millimeters, because that's where the top of the topo that's where the top of the toposolid is. So maybe I'm going to just bring this down a little bit more, and I'm going to make all the corners of the toposolid 49,000. See what happens. So when you are working with a toposolid and you want to manipulate it, i.e., take the points and vary them, make them higher or lower, what we need to do is we need to select the toposolid. And up here, you'll see we have a number of options to choose from. We have modify subelements. And when we select modify subelements, we can edit the existing toposolid. If we're creating a brand new toposolid, just independent of what we're working on, then we would edit the sketch, or edit a sketch, create a sketch, and then add points. A split line allows you to define a boundary line that would, the contours would act independently on either side of it. So let's modify the sub elements, and we could add points, or these blue circles are actual elevation points. So what I can do is I can just grab these and I'm going to relocate them here. I'm going to turn on thin lines so I can be a little more accurate. You have to click once and then drag it. And I don't believe we have a snapping feature. I mean, we do have, in some cases, snap, but not in this case here. So I'm just going to have to do a little bit of an eyeball. This one here. And it is a little touchy. Very touchy. Maybe I'll use the move command, that way there's no question. But did you notice that when I selected one of these dots, I get what the actual elevation is of that point? So we can, at this point, change it to what we want it to be. And as you do that, do the same over here. You could see the contours are changing, okay? So I'm going to go through the process, but you have to go to modify subelements first. And I'm going to take this one here, and I'm going to drag it roughly to here, and then I can change that value to 49 million. That would have been good. And I'm not going to worry too much about the way the contours look right now, because I'm just going to do a selection that way. I'll put it right here, because we're going to see an effect of the contours around the building, not along the perimeter of the building, but around the building. Like, let me just pick this one, drag that over to here. I'll change that to 49. So what we're looking at here is a flat surface that is, forget the building, okay? A flat surface going along here, and this one here is 49,000. I'll take this one here and I'll drag it over to this corner, and I will make this 49,000. And let's take a look at this one here. That is 49,000. We have this point here. We'll make that 49,000. And then we have this point here, which is, we'll make that 49,000. I'm going to have to shift that into position. Again, I'm not being super precise as to where these will go. Matter of fact, some of these are very, very touchy. So let's try this again. All right, modify subelements. All right, so that's already set. I keep hitting escape, so that's kind of screwing me over a bit. Pick this one. I don't know if it'll let me move it. It will not, so I'll just select it and I'll use the actual move command. Go. And so what we have here is the building and the property around it. So we have a flat surface here, 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 and through the building actually. And it's just carrying us through. We do have the flat surface sort of going around like this. If we wanted to, one thing that might actually make a difference is instead of us selecting or identifying that point, let me just delete it. And so what's happening is that it is changing the boundary or the I guess the boundary of that one contour elevation. So let me, I'm going to undo that. All right, but let me, instead of having it at the corner, let me just move it. There we go. And as a matter of fact, these ones here we could move if we wished. And we could even get rid of this one. But the thing you need to remember is as we do this, once again I have to, as we do this, then you're going to have to make sure that if you do need to make a change in slope towards the building, you're going to have to add these points back in. And that's very easy to do. I mean, you can, once again, I hit escape, modify sub-elements. I could say add point, and let me just add a point right here. So you could see that it had an effect on the contour line. If I go back here, modify sub-elements, if I were to change this to 52,000, see the effect? Now if we look at this in 3D, where are we, 3D? You see the effect that we're having here?